Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Kevin. Nice to meet you all. I just wanted to create this series of option videos just as a baseline education, as well as it's something that I just enjoy and something that I routinely practice on my own. I thought it might be super valuable to others. I'd gotten interest from friends and family. Let's start with the basics. And I'm a big example guy, so please don't pick apart if I don't introduce every piece of vocab right off the get-go. We'll get there as we go. So the call option is the most, I would say the most basic or the most known option out of everybody. And what does it do? A call option gives the holder, right? That would be us, right? If we bought it, the right, but not the obligation, aka I don't have to buy something if I don't want to. 100 shares of a stock at a specified strike price within a specified time period. So it's a lot of words. And why 100 shares? It's always a default one contract, right? So one contract is always 100 shares, always. Um, I don't want to say always. You could get in different asset classes. And just because I wrote stock here, there's options on cryptocurrencies, and there's options on futures, and there's options on everything. But for here, we'll just stick to basic stocks, right? The things that everybody knows and loves. Now, why would I ever like buy a call option? There's a ton of reasons why you would buy a call option, but I wrote this why. I'm going to try to keep my thoughts in orange, which is essentially I'm too cheap or worried the stock will go down, so I buy a cheap option to test the waters. And what do I mean by that? Let's go through an example. So let's say that SPY is currently trading at $436.97. This is a real number on 6/20/23. When I'm making this video, I want everyone to be comfortable with actual numbers. I feel like books and online tutorials use these very round and idealistic numbers and they don't give people reality. And so that's where this guy would be on our graph right here. And I'm going to try to color coordinate all the highlighters to try to keep some sync, right? And so if I were to buy just 100 shares of this guy today, right? Like if I was going to buy 100 shares of SPY, it would be 436, right? I'm not going to leave the decimal places, right? Times 100, right? And then I'd end up with $43,600, right? And that's a pretty lofty investment, right? You might be thinking to yourself, well, man, 43 grand's pretty deep. Well, that's why I wrote it in orange. I'm too cheap or too worried, right? And I don't want this to go down. What happens if I buy it at the 436.97 right now and instantly it goes down to, 430, right? I lose quite a solid bit of money right off the bat. So one of the reasons why you would buy a call option is you can kind of test these waters. So let's go through an example. Here is an SPY call option, and here are three keys. So I'll undo each of them. You usually have a price, a strike, and a date. People write these a lot more tightly packed, but for the first video, we'll just write everything out off the get-go. So the price of a call option is $4.40, and I don't even know why they do this. It's really just history that determined the reason that we deal with contracts this way. But it's per share, but it's always times 100 shares, right? So keep in mind, just like I set up here, one contract is always 100 shares. So even though the price of the option is $4.40, it's times 100 shares. So the price is really 440 bucks for the call contract, right? So you can see that guy right over here. So right off the bat, why would I do this? I would pay $440. I would potentially lose, $440 over here if my option doesn't go my way. But like we said, 440 bucks is a whole lot cheaper than just going straight to 43,600, right? That's concerning. And you're like, hey, I don't mind losing 400 bucks, but I really don't want to lose a couple grand off of my 400 off my 40,000. So the other pieces is I have the strike at 442. And so this is my strike price at 442, and my date is 7/1/21. So what does that mean? So essentially what all these means is I pay $440 at a strike of 442 on 7. What is the strike? That means that if the price of the original guy, right? So this original 436 goes up, right? You can see this graph works itself out. It goes above 442. I keep all this profit over here. That's good news, right? The best part about it is I have a defined risk, right? So if nothing works out for me, right, and the price never goes above 442, right, it always stays to the left over here. No big deal. I lost 440 bucks. I mean, it's not fun to lose 440 bucks. It's a whole lot better than losing that couple grand we had initially talked about, right? And from there, we can look at things like break evens. You can see that I have a break even strike. So it's the 440, sorry, I have a break even price of 442, which is the orange guy, right? Plus the 400, plus the 440, right? So it's per share. And I add them together and I get the 442 plus 440 is 446.40, right? So this guy is my break even. So if all goes well and the price over the course of 1 month, right? Again, 620 to 721, right, is greater than 446.40, I've broken even and then some, right? And it's unlimited profit potential at this point.